knew in our hearts that it was Bobby.
Investigators are still working to identify a body found over an embankment in Clark County on Friday.
Police in Laurel County say they found a fugitive from Ohio in this trailer, and while here they took 8 other people to jail. Those people claim that they were falsely arrested.
I came home and it wasn't here.
Porch thefts are not just common around the holidays. How to keep thieves from swiping packages from your doorstep.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. They are searching for closure. It's been 3 days since investigators found a body in Clark County near Interstate 64.
And so far, the body has not been officially identified, but friends and family of a missing Northern Kentucky couple are sure it's one of their loved ones, and they have no plans yet to stop searching. Hillary Thornton talks to the family in our top story at 5:30.
Family of Robert Jones say while they are still waiting for the official identity of the body found over this embankment here on Friday, they feel confident it is Bobby.
I feel like I know in my heart that it is Bobby.
Jennifer Fine was by her husband's side Friday. He's been searching for his brother Bobby for more than a month now. This crews investigated the discovery of a body in Clark County.
We watched them remove the body from the spot it was found.
Watching the heartbreaking scene unfold as state police handling the murder of Jones and his girlfriend Crystal Warner, taking over the investigation. The couple last seen alive the first weekend of July.
Based on the things that we've learned about this case and the happenings of the night of July 3rd, we knew in our hearts that it was Bobby.
A cross placed by Jones's family, now standing where the body was found.
There's no way about it. There's nothing we can do to change what's happened. So we know that they are deceased, but you don't really want to hope for that to be your loved one's body.
News no family ever wants to receive, but news this family needs. It is news that they say if they do receive will not stop their search efforts until Warner is also found.
Bob would want us to continue to search for her.
Getting that official word that he has in fact been found, an important step for loved ones trying to come to terms with the unthinkable. And they say they also know and understand it as an important step in making sure that the man police say is responsible, Craig Pennington, is held accountable. In Clark County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Also, family members say police contacted them for Jones's dental records. Investigators say it could be another day or two before they are able to positively identify that body.
His family initially reported him missing, but when deputies started investigating, they found out he was wanted in another state. Laurel County Sheriff's deputies arrested Thomas Scott over the weekend after finding him at a home, but he wasn't alone. Deputies say his family tried to hide him. 8 others ended up being arrested. Phil Pendleton is talking to some of the suspects who say deputies had no right to charge them.
The story starts about a week ago when this man, Thomas Scott, was reported missing. His family put up signs like this one at a nearby truck stop. On Saturday, they say he suddenly came home. Police say during their missing person search, they learned that Scott was wanted out of Ohio for child neglect. Tip took them to Arthur Ridge Road, where they say 8 people pretended like they had no idea where he was.
They didn't know his whereabouts. We found him hiding in the back bedroom and arrested him.
We didn't know he was out front by the driveway and talking to the girl that drove his truck here.
Each were also charged with public intoxication, but the 3 we spoke with say little alcohol was around.
Why? Because I came from Ohio thinking like the worst for my cousin Tommy Scott, and I end up in jail.
The alleged fugitive's relatives say they simply traveled from Florida, Ohio, and parts of Kentucky to search for their missing loved one. Yet when he was found, they claim they went to jail for it.
And like I said, I am 53 years old, never been in an ounce of trouble. And now I've got a record for something that I was just trying to help somebody.
But police are sticking by their charges.
I just think it's an odd coincidence that nobody in that residence knew that the individual was there when the information we received was that he was in fact there.
Police say one of the women charged, Rebecca Roach of Danville, even tried to hide marijuana She was being booked into jail. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Most of the suspects have been released from jail. Thomas Scott is expected to be taken back to Butler County, Ohio.
Many of us are enjoying a break from the rain, but it will not last.
We are tracking some showers and storms moving back in tomorrow. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has an early look now at your forecast.
It's a very tropical pattern, guys, and that means we're going to have everything you get in a tropical location. That means the humidity and any thunderstorm that goes up can very well produce a lot of rainfall. Not seeing a lot of that today. Now, we had some showers and thunderstorms across eastern Kentucky, but today it's mainly dry for most of us. You see Jackson, you see London, the clouds hanging a little bit thicker there. Here in Lexington, we're seeing even some thicker clouds as well, pushing our temperature down a little bit. We're at 84 degrees compared to getting closer to the upper 80s earlier, and then Frankfort at 87 right now. So here's what we've got with our Defender Radar Network. A few showers remain across southeastern Kentucky, and that's it. Anything that goes up, if it crosses over into Kentucky out of Virginia, it could very well produce some heavy amounts of rain. And you can see our high resolution model even picks up on the fact that some of that could happen in that area here for later on this evening, but all of that dying out by midnight tonight. So here's kind of a breakdown over the next little bit. The issues we face this week. The tropical air, that means that we've got a lot of moisture hanging out with us. During dry periods, it's going to be oppressive when you just put it in with a little bit of heat. It's going to be rather smothersome. And then any thunderstorm that comes together can produce flash flood like rains. We'll break this down a little more in detail coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. 4 people charged in connection with 2 murders are scheduled to be in court tomorrow. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Lee County. Anthony Taylor, Kevin Kendall, Wesley Johnson, and Cassandra White all face charges after 2 bodies were found on Hell Creek Road. Billy Rourke's body was found Friday around noon, and James Brown's body was found Saturday night. According to arrest citations, Taylor and Kendall blame each other for the shooting death of Rourke, and Kendall told investigators Taylor and White shot Brown. Both Taylor and Kendall say Johnson, who called 911 about Rourke's death, was also involved in the crime. Bonds for all 4 have been set at $1 million, and they'll be in court tomorrow morning at 9:30. And in Christian County, Hopkinsville police have arrested a man accused of stabbing his sisters to death. Police say 65-year-old Robert Rogers stabbed 69-year-old Frances Coleman and 62-year-old Joanne Rogers at a home on East 7th Street. Robert Rogers was charged with 2 counts of murder. No other details about what led up to the stabbings have been released.
They are called porch poachers, thieves who steal packages from front steps or unlocked apartment building foyers. Investigators say they're getting more brazen, and the problem isn't just during the holidays. In this report, we show you how video surveillance led to a suspect and how you can avoid becoming a victim.
People have been coming in and taking people's packages in the building frequently.
Trevor Doherty says he had 2 packages stolen from the front foyer of his apartment building. His building has 2 doors. The first one into the foyer is unlocked. Packages are often left here.
I was waiting to receive a jacket, and it was very cold because it was in the winter, and I was super excited to have it, and I came home and it wasn't here.
Trevor called postal inspectors who learned there were similar complaints in the same area.
The suspect identified apartment buildings that had vulnerabilities. Packages were simply left outside, they were unsecured, and he took advantage of that.
When investigators found open packages in a nearby dumpster, they began to look at video camera footage.
Once we identified the area where he was disposing of the items at this dumpster, we were able to capture video of him on these occasions. We also utilized the video from several of these apartment buildings where the thefts occurred.
Inspectors were able to send the packages to a crime lab where fingerprints showed an exact match to a suspect.
From the video, from the times of delivery, we were able to develop some patterns, and we were able to do surveillance and catch him red-handed.
More than 30 people lost 40 packages. Inspectors say the suspect would open the packages and sell the items immediately. And Trevor says he thinks working professionals who are not at home in the middle of the day are often targeted. Now neighbors are helping neighbors.
And if someone's here and they see packages in the hallway, they'll bring them in, put them in front of somebody's door, and then let you know if they see you or talk to you that you do have a package.
Postal inspectors are also recommending tracking packages and asking a neighbor or maybe a relative to sign for the package.
Still to come here on WKYT, a trip down memory lane, what UK school leaders found in a time capsule unearthed while building new residence halls on campus.
I'm Bill Bryant. Fancy Farm was livened up by Kentucky's 2 U.S. Senate candidates, and a member of the Bush family says he will support Donald Trump even if other family members are not. The bottom line is ahead.
We're tracking some breaking news right now in Scott County. There's been an officer-involved shooting. It happened just about 30 minutes ago on Midway Road near the Woodford County line.
This is a live picture from Midway Road, our crew being kept away from that scene. State police are telling us a trooper shot a suspect who was involved in a car chase. The suspect's condition is not known. State police tell us an ambulance, though, was called to the scene, but no troopers are believed to have been injured. We'll have much more on this on WKYT News coming up at 6.
They sparred this weekend. Now Kentucky's 2 U.S. Senate candidates are hitting the campaign trail.
And some numbers from Frankfurt show that Governor Bevin is not the highest paid politician in the state. Bill Bryant has details on the bottom line.
Good evening. Kentucky's U.S. Senate candidates are back out on the campaign trail after facing each other for the first time at Fancy Farm. Freshman Republican Senator Rand Paul is facing a challenge from Democratic nominee Lexington Mayor Jim Gray. The two took digs at each other in their speeches to the crowd at the traditional political picnic in western Kentucky. Paul made reference to the incomplete Centerpoint project in downtown Lexington, and Gray criticized Paul for taking his attention away from Kentucky for his presidential campaign, trying to tie him to Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump with T-shirts.
Complete with the testimonial from your buddy Donald Trump, which says Rand Paul is using the people of Kentucky. I heard the real reason that the big hole is still there, why he stopped work on the big hole, because he heard there was coal in it.
Governor Matt Bevin, Senator Mitch McConnell, and other top Republicans spoke at Fancy Farm, while the 2 Democrats who hold statewide office, Secretary of State Allison Grimes and Attorney General Andy Beshear, stayed away. Both said they had family commitments. A couple of Governor Matt Bevin appointees make more money than he does. The Courier-Journal pulled new numbers from the state Open Door website today, reflecting 5% raises have been given to workers in the administration who have been on their jobs for at least 6 months. Bevins announced that salary structure some months ago. The Secretary of Health and Family Services, Vicki Yates Brown Glisson, makes $155,000 a year. Laura Pruitt, who is the executive director at the Kentucky Horse Park, earns $150,000. Governor Bevin is next at just over $140,000. Many other top administration officials earn around $137,000 a year. Jeb Bush's son is now urging Texas Republicans to support Donald Trump. While most of the Bush family is withholding support, Texas Land Commissioner George P. Bush says his overriding goal is to stop Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton from being elected. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A piece of history unearthed on UK's campus. Today, school leaders opened a time capsule found while crews were building new residence halls.
Pretty cool. Leaders believe the old metal box was originally buried in 1958. They found it at the intersection of Limestone and Avenue of Champions, where Holmes Hall used to be. Leaders believe the women who lived in Holmes Hall back then buried the box.
And for the women who were moving into Holmes Hall, it was a way for them to leave a part of themselves there so that people like us one day could see what life was like for them, and to get an idea that, you know, in 2016, they're, you know, what we see in our popular culture and how that differs from what was, you know, part of their culture.
Inside that time capsule was a 1958 ticket to a Louis Armstrong show at Memorial Coliseum, a ticket for Keeneland, a tea bag, Band-Aids, university programs, and a tube of coral red lipstick.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
We are going to see the heat, humidity, showers, and thunderstorms all come back again this week. Sounds very familiar. We've been singing this song for a while now. Right now outside you'll find temperatures running in the low and also into the mid-80s over most of Kentucky. Louisville, which has one of those thermometers that notoriously runs hot, says it's 90 degrees, probably in the upper 80s in all actuality. Now, the rest of us, when you factor in the humidity, it does indeed feel closer to 90 degrees or right around it in some cases. Like here in Lexington, it feels like 87. Feels like 90 in Mount Sterling, 92 down the road into Danville. So the humidity certainly having an impact on the actual air temperatures today. A few showers and thunderstorms still linger across parts of eastern Kentucky and to Letcher and into Harlan counties, but that's it. And some heavy rainmakers just over the border into parts of Virginia. And we could run into those this week. That's going to be a trend that will continue. Any thunderstorm that tries to come together that's going to be fed by this low and all this tropical moisture certainly has that capability to bring a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And that's going to be the issue, because a lot of the storms that come together aren't going to have any major steering winds with them, meaning that they're going to hang around, maybe linger for longer than they should. So we run into high water concerns. What we're doing with this graphic is simple. Anywhere you see yellow, that's tropical air. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock right here in Kentucky, we are tracking the tropical air, and it is going to hang around. And what that means for you is as long as it's around, we will have a nasty feel to the air when you walk outside, almost smothersome, and any shower or thunderstorm that comes up can and will produce a lot of rain. So when you're talking about the very humid air, that means heavy rain potential. Now this is just an overall outlook from right now through 5 o'clock on Sunday. We keep the daily storm threat alive, and you see that we're talking 1.5 inches, 2 inches. There may be cases where it goes even higher than that with any individual thunderstorm, because they can produce this amount of rain that you're seeing anywhere within one single cell. So we're going to watch that very closely in the coming days here for more flash flood potential, because the ground has had no time to recover from all the rains we've already had over the past few weeks here. Well, few, I should say several, several weeks. So again, it's a concern that we'll be watching very closely in the coming days, guys.
I feel like we're in our own version, a rainy, stormy version of Groundhog Day. It's kind of what we're in the middle of.
We are right in the middle of it, and we're going to keep living it. The only thing is Chris Bailey will come back. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Dealing with a collision on Newtown Pike at Coleman Court. That is a non-injury crash, and police have one lane blocked for outbound Newtown Pike, which is causing some issues as far back as a circle. Now, drive times currently to Nicholasville up to 15 minutes now. Georgetown about 19 minutes, into Paris 23. Now back to you in the studio.
Now back from vacation, Brian Milam joining us now. And Brian, some tough, disappointing news for the football Cats.
Yeah, I wish it were different, but the Cats' defensive line dealt a big blow today. Junior defensive tackle Reggie Mint has left the UK team. Mark Stoops addresses that situation next in sports. The football Wildcats have been practicing now for just a couple of days, but already some bad news. Defensive tackle Reggie Mint will not be with the UK team for the foreseeable future. Mark Stoops saying this morning Mint would not be with the Wildcats for a while as he handles, quote, a personal issue. But Stoops did not elaborate any further. The UK D-line was already an area of concern and now has to fill a major hole, losing its most experienced player.
It has nothing to do with football. Nothing to do with us or playing or anything like that. It has to do with himself. But it is a blow to us and our depth on the D-line, but other guys will step up.
If one fall off, the next one has to be ready to go, and that's what it is. Everybody's prepared and everybody's ready to go. So, you know, whatever Reggie's situation is, I don't know, but, you know, everybody's ready to play. We have the next man up that is ready to go.
Mark Stoops also announcing this morning tight end Darrell Long will be transferring in an attempt to get more playing time. The 6'4", 245-pound sophomore from Westerville, Ohio, was third on the depth chart. We continue to count down to the UK football season now, 26 days away. 26 the number for Paul Calhoun, Koshik Williams, Ron Robinson, Freddie Williams, Emery Clark. The Cats scored that number of points in their 26-22 upset win over South Carolina in 2015. Sonny Collins and Mo Williams, boy, they were great, still share the UK record for rushing touchdowns with 26. The great defensive tackle Oliver Barnett still holds the UK career record for sacks with 26. Kentucky snapped a 26-year losing skid by beating Tennessee 10-7 in 2011. EKU punter Keith Ruzak was chosen first-team preseason All-American by College Sports Madness. The junior from Geelong, Australia, was a first-team All-OVC selection last season, breaking Jordan Berry's EKU single-season punting record, finishing with an average of 43.7 yards per punt. Berry, also from Australia, He ranks second in the OVC and ninth in the nation in punting average. And ESPN releasing the start times for the Big 12 SEC Challenge for this upcoming 2016-2017 basketball season. Kentucky plays Kansas January 28th in Rupp Arena, and it will be a 6 o'clock tip. You can see it on the Big Blowtorch, ESPN, January 28th. That's sports. We'll be right back.